right? So it maps into the outer key and where is that? It must be off the screen somewhere. And then the 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 outer key value pair, which is Anne and all of her information, and then the inner key value pair, which is the phone and the particular value for phone. However, if I try to map to a key on a key value pair that doesn't exist, it will do something like this. We get a runtime error because there is no key value of email in the inner dictionary for Anne. Okay, here we have a dictionary that contains lists as values, right? So this is one of those complex data types that we talked about. Students is a dictionary, but the values associated with the keys are lists. Okay, so let's run this one, 29. And so the output simply is a dictionary that contains lists as the values for each student. So if we say, what's the name of it? We say, move it to students. So if we say, it will retrieve the list of scores that are associated with the key Joel for the student's dictionary. Okay, let's see. I think we have two more programs. Let's take a look at them. The book catalog program. And what are we going to add? Let's see. We're going to add. This doesn't show all of the contents of the dictionary, but it will show individual items. And let's see, Heart of Darkness. See if I can remember. Okay, let's run this. Heart of Darkness doesn't exist in the catalog, so we're going to add it with Joseph Conrad in 1890. Then we're going to take a look at it. And we realized we made a mistake. It was actually written by Joseph Conrad in another year. So we're going to edit that entry. And take a look. And let's take a look at the code. What's going on here First of all, it's setting up the initial book catalog dictionary, then displaying the menu, which has all of the commands here, and then executing different functions by passing book catalog to it, show book, add edit book. And I believe that function both adds and edits books, which again is kind of a violation of the rule about functions should only do one thing and one thing only. We'll take a look at that. And then two different modes for that function, mode of add and mode of edit. And then delete. So let's take a look at these. Well, add is pretty straightforward. Let's go up here. Okay, show book is pretty straightforward, right? You enter a title, and if it finds that title in the book catalog, it prints out the title of the author and the year. Otherwise, it gives you this message. It doesn't exist in the catalog. Let's take a look at add edit, however. This is kind of an interesting function in that it accepts a second argument of mode, and mode can actually be add or edit. And so if mode is this, if it's add, if it's not there, if it is there, it tells you it's already in the catalog. If it's not there, gives you the option to edit it. On the other hand, if you call the function with the edit as the value of mode, and it's not in the book catalog, it tells you the same thing. And it says, would you like to add it? Okay, so it's strange that they do this. They use adding and editing in the same function, but I guess you could argue that really those are very similar actions. And so that justifies it. This here, we introduced something new that we didn't talk about. This is the update operator. This will, if you're adding or editing, we record this information and we put it in book. So this book will be something different from the existing books that are there. And this is an update operator. It's just a bar with an equal sign. So this will add the book data to the book catalog. Okay. And deleting is pretty straightforward. You enter in some value for title, and if it's in the dictionary, it will delete it, and it will tell you that it deleted it. Otherwise, if the title is not already in the dictionary, it'll just tell you it doesn't exist in the catalog. Okay, so not too much new there. I guess the update operator and the way they have handled both adding and editing in the same function. I believe we have one more here. Let's see. Maybe some slides too. Hang on. All right, so this is all book catalog. Oh, that's the last one, actually. Okay, well, we ran through everything that I had prepared. I guess we're going to finish up about 15 minutes early. Are there any questions or anything? Here's the chat. Let's see what's on the chat. Alice Palmer, word counts for qualitative, quantitative text analysis. Here, let's see if I can call this up. Alice, are you there?
I'm here. No, it's just something that I've seen done in the process of doing research.
Yeah.
You were mentioning that there was a research use for that.
Yeah, and I'm not really plugged into that directly, but I did teach a couple of our courses that played around with texts. You've probably seen, for example, the one that will create a graphic display of all the individual words that you have in a text, but the ones that are more frequent, they'll be really large. or a different color. So you can output this graphical display of the how many how many words you have, but also their importance and so forth. There's a lot more to this than I know for sure about word counts. But I don't have any idea what Chat GPT looks like under the hood, but it must be pretty powerful to be able to extract so much information from different types of text and quantitative data.
I have another question for you.
Sure.
What does the whole wild true mean anyway? Is there ever a false?
Oh yeah, of course. The way while statements work is the while true, I see. Normally this is a condition, right, that evaluates the true or false. And somewhere when you process this, it's initially true, which causes the while statement to execute. And it's only when this condition turns to false that you'll get out of the while statement. Well, this is a different approach to the same thing. But if you say while true, it will never exit until you encounter a break. Okay, so this is commonly used instead of evaluating some condition where you just simply want it to go through the whatever statements are in the while statement until you, in this case, until the person says the command is exit. And exit will cause it to break out, right? So otherwise, every time you enter any of the other commands, you're still in this loop, and it will just keep going through this loop over and over again. So true is, short answer to your question, true is always true. And the only way you can get out of the while loop if you do that is to say break somewhere, which they do here. Does that help at all?
So what would happen if you didn't say while true?
Well, otherwise you would have some sort of conditional statement here. While age is greater than 52, and it would execute everything in the while statement while that condition was true. Let's see, maybe I can find a program, one of the earlier programs where we did this.
But if you didn't put a while statement in there at all, does it have to have the while statement for all the ifs and the else ifs to work?
Yeah, that's exactly right. That was it's a control feature. And we want to do this so that they can enter different commands. It'll keep coming back to this. If they enter show, it will call that function. If they enter add, it will call that function. If they enter edit, it will call that function. And then it will come back to this while statement and run through it again. So this enables all of the commands in here to keep executing, which is what you want in a program like this, right? Until they say, I don't want to do it anymore. I want to exit. Yeah, I take a look, take a few minutes if you don't mind, and call up a few examples. We also talked about it, I think, in day 2, if I'm not mistaken. There's some examples on the slides in day 2.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Well, look, thank you all. Again, feel free to contact me. Try to answer questions or share information to the extent I can. And thanks for participating. I'll have these recordings made and I'll get them out to you by tomorrow at the latest. Okay. So thanks so much, and keep in touch.